so excited about this year. Miss Hearn and I are just going to go through what we would do if we were meeting face to face.
So welcome back to school. I'm Jacqueline Hearn. Most of y'all know me from second grade. If not, you've seen me around. So this is my 7th year to teach. I'm really excited about this year though. And this is a picture of my family.
And I'm Leanna Jones. Most of you probably already know me, but I'm so excited to have all of you in my class this year. This is my 10th year to teach, going into my 10th year, and we're just super excited about this year.
Okay, so our class schedule. Parent drop-off is going to be in front of the high school where you usually drop off anyways. The only thing that is different this year is you cannot come in with your child. They're going to stop, get their temperature taken in the actual school office, and it's an iPad that reads it. It'll make sure that you have a face mask. It'll tell you, please wear a mask. If you don't have it, it's British. So if you don't have a mask on, it'll tell you to put one on. And then you'll go, and if you're eating breakfast here, you'll go to grab a breakfast, and then you're going to come straight into the classroom starting at 7:30. So we can't drop off before 7:30. So just at 7:30 when you start dropping off, there'll be people to make sure that your child gets to where they need to go.
Okay, our class schedule, 4th grade, you come to Miss Jones first, and 5th grade, you will go to Miss Hearn first, and we switch usually either just right before lunch or right after lunch, depending on what activities and things that we have.
And we will still get out at 2 on Wednesdays. All right, so our student expectations, okay, so we're prepping for middle school. We got to learn to be responsible for our own things. Always working on being respectful and showing our Christ-likeness. Obey all school rules, which all falls hand in hand. Oh, be your best self, guys. And become more independent and portray the Crusader way.
All right, the grading scale has not changed. It's still going to be the same. A's are 100 to 93, B's 92 to 85, C is a 84 to 77, D is a 76 to 68, and anything 67 or below is F. None of that really has changed. Test papers will go home on Wednesdays unless there is a Monday holiday. If there's a Monday holiday, test papers will go home on Thursday. Please review those tests and send back and sign and send back all of the tests back to us after you sign them. Their conduct sheet will also be included with those test papers.
All right, so my homework policy. You're going to do spelling homework every night. It'll be due on Friday with your vocabulary as well. Make sure that you're reading, and because we're still going to do AR and it's still going to be for a grade, we're just going to have to utilize the public library a little bit more. We'll do EPIC and classroom library sets. But also make sure that you're studying your Bible verse and your vocabulary words that are going to be tested.
Okay, homework for math. Every night you'll have a few problems to work. It will be the sheet that I actually teach from is what I send home. And so if you have to go back, let's say I send home a homework sheet and mom and dad aren't real sure how to work that, you can always go back to the sheet that we worked in class, and it's going to have step-by-step instructions of what we did in class. So there is no actual textbook for math. The sheets that I send home are what we use to teach the lesson. So you'll have a few problems of math every night. And science and social studies is a little bit different. It's hard to be on a strict routine of this is what we're going to do this day because some chapters, are bigger than other chapters. So that will always be, they will know when their test is going to be, and I will send those reminders out and remind you what day the science or history test will be on. But mostly all of the actual work is done in class for science and history. The only reason they would have homework is if we're having tests and they need to study over their notes, or if they just didn't finish writing something down. A lot of times I'll have them just kind of mark it in their book and say this is number such and such, and so they may need to go home that night and actually write it on their study guide. But there's not a whole lot of homework for science and history.
Okay, so attendance. Just remember that even though it's the second half of the day, If you are a fourth grader and you have to get checked out at lunch, you're missing Ms. Hearn's whole fourth grade block, and vice versa for fifth grade. So that's just the main reminder. But if you know that you're going to be checking out later in the day, could you please let us know by 8:30 so that we can go ahead and get student materials and different things like that ready. But all checkouts have to be, like, especially with everything going on, have to be handled through the school office. So you can't just say I'm going to check out and then skip the office step. So just make sure that you still go through Miss Crystal in the office. We're not. I think you'll still have to maybe call the office, and we'll send your student out. I'm pretty sure that's how it's going to work. But if you need to come in, you can do that.
Contact Miss
well,
Crystal
right.
in the office.
All right. So language arts, we'll do most of our work in class and be handed out and put in our folder. And reading, we're going to be reading entire novels and discuss the novels, and we're going to go very depth and look into our biblical worldview with that as well. We're going to write a lot of essays. We're going to learn new vocabulary and work on Greek and Latin roots. So our first novels are going to be for fourth grade, The Indian in the Cupboard, and fifth grade, Wonderstruck. So we're sharing this novel. It's worked out that I do have enough for every student to have their own, but if you really would like your own, you may need to purchase a copy. And we're going to be writing a lot. Don't panic. It's not going to be easy at first, and it's not going to be pretty, but we're going to do a great job at the end of the year.
All right, so in math, the first thing we're going to be covering is number sense. It's more like place value, things like that. So it's kind of a review, just a little bit of review. Basically, we're taking a skill that they already learned for fourth graders in third grade, and we're just going to kind of like make the numbers, larger numbers for them to actually figure out the place values and things like that. The test, most of the test is going to be like application type questions. There are some, like, usually it's like on the first page of the test is going to be just like working problems and stuff, but there are a lot of questions on our math test that will be application. What that means is, you're going to have to know how to apply the skill that we've worked on for that week. But don't be scared of that. I'm going to help them through it, and, we will get through all of this together. There will slowly be making changes as the year goes on as far as like how much writing I expect them to do on those answers. Also, fact fluency is very important to me. We will have speed test, and the way I do the speed test, we try to do one speed test every week. It is the same exact page every single week, whether it's the subtraction page, division, multiplication, addition. So we do the same page, but which operation we're doing may change. However, I only take the highest grade in those. So if your child comes home with a not so good grade on a speed drill, just understand that I'm only taking the highest grade. I still send those home so you can see what they're doing, but I will only take one grade out of all of the speed tests that we do, and it will be the highest grade that they make. Science and social studies. They do have a textbook for science and social studies, and we have a workbook. They can bring their textbook home if they need to catch up on some reading, or if they didn't get finished with what we did in class. My intention is to make science and social studies fun and exciting. We will have some projects throughout the year. I'm not real settled on which ones I want to do this year, so you will have plenty of notice on when different projects and things are due.
All right, technology, we're going to use Chromebooks every day. I will give tests on the Chromebooks. I know that Ms. Jones is going to start giving some tests on the Chromebooks as well. And when the test is taken online, we're going to print out a copy of the actual test for you so that it will be in your test folder.
Okay, for recess, we have 2 20-minute recesses daily that is scheduled, but we only can do those if time allows. So we do try to get them as much recess time as we can, though. Especially on Wednesdays, a lot of times we don't have time for recess. And this year it will look a little different. Students will play only with their grade level. So where we used to, 4th and 5th grade used to go out together and they could all play like kickball and stuff together. We're not going to do that this year because of COVID-19. We're going to just 4th graders play with 4th graders and 5th graders play with 5th graders. So that's a little bit different this time.
And they will be allowed to bring balls from home in order to play like on the softball field and baseball field. All right, library, AR. Again, I did say that we're going to continue to do AR, and it will be for a grade. We're going to set our own goal every 9 weeks, and it's going to be based on what we're reading in class. So if Indian in the Cupboard is a certain amount of points, like you can't set your goal lower than that. So we're not going to check out books from the school library, so we're going to utilize Epic, which is an online tool for them, and the classroom library. But the public library is also now open, so if you're comfortable going into the public library, that's a great place to get